This is a pretty tough case, and you're accusing Meta of using technology to do harm. Does this have to do with the algorithm that is the basis of Facebook and Instagram, or is it more nuanced than that?
Well, it has to do with the design of their products, both Facebook and Instagram. They designed their product to be dangerous. They knew that it was dangerous, and they lied to the public. And the design includes the algorithmic feed. It includes beeps and alerts, likes, infinite scroll, autoplay, ephemeral content like Instagram stories, sort of that constellation of different features that they designed created the harm. They did internal research where they knew it hurt the mental health of kids. It created anxiety, depression, body image issues, addictive tendencies, learning loss, and they doubled down and chose profit over the safety of children. And one of the things that I do as the California Attorney General is I protect vulnerable populations, including our kids. I'm a dad of 3. Any parent, teacher, or guardian knows the detrimental impact of these products, and this is the tobacco moment for Meta, and this is time for them to be held accountable. So we have picked a jury, and we have opening statements and begin our trial on Tuesday. I will be there personally, and we look forward to making our case, bringing this case to trial, and holding Meta accountable.
You know, this isn't the first case. It's not going to be probably the last case against Meta or social media at large, but it does seem to be the biggest case so far to date. Why is this one so important? And is it about restitution for those families and individuals who you would argue in the other states have been certainly harmed here? Or is it about really changing the way social media companies, Meta in particular, do business?
It's both. It's about injunctive relief, including changing their conduct, ending the features that create the excessive, the addictive, the compulsive use by kids, that the features that are designed to addict kids so that they maximize their use, the duration on the platform, the frequency on the platform. So it's certainly about changing these addictive, harmful features that Meta knew about and lied about. It's also about an appropriate amount of what we call penalties. It's not actually technically damages. It's penalties, disgorgement, and restitution are the types of relief we can get. We are seeking significant amounts in this case. And this is a huge case. It's a multi-state case. It's what we call a bellwether case, when 29 states have brought claims and 4 states have been chosen to bring their case to trial. And so California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey will be bringing our case on Tuesday. And across the country, there are north of 40 states, bipartisan Republican and Democratic states, who have brought cases against Meta in both state court and in federal court. So this is a big moment. This is a big case. We're seeking both changes in conduct and appropriate financial compensation.
I was struck by your first answer, Mr. Attorney General, as you implied that this is not only wrongdoing, but motivated, premeditated. This was on purpose. Why would Facebook, why would Mark Zuckerberg aim to harm his clients, his customers?
Well, you could ask the same thing of the tobacco industry. Yeah. You could ask the same thing of the opioid industry and the Sackler family, Purdue Pharma.
You believe that he is on the same level?
Oh, yeah. This is the same level stuff. Knowing about the harms, having internal discussions and memos, including, you mentioned Mr. Zuckerberg, so let me tell you about Mr. Zuckerberg. There was a feature called, it was a filter, a plastic surgery filter, which changes your images using a plastic surgery type of technology that shows what you look like after plastic surgery. And it was known internally that this would harm the mental health of kids, including especially young girls. And his team warned him about it. They raised the red flag. He overruled them and said, do it anyway. Wow. He chose profit over the safety of children. So It's the same thing with tobacco. They knew about the harms, and they visited that on the American public anyway. It's the same with opioids. They knew the addictive, harmful impacts. They visited on the American public anyway. And this is not just the American public. This is kids, our children, the next generation. As parents and teachers, we have to be passionate about this, and I am, and so are the other attorneys general. So yeah, this is about knowing the harm, doing it anyway, doubling down on it, and lying about it to the public. It is very tobacco-like in that way.
Is Meta, though, in a league all its own, any different than some of the other social media platforms that are out there? I'm thinking TikTok, Snap, or YouTube. I'm thinking of some reporting, Mr. Attorney General, that our own Olivia Carvel, has done, where they kept a safety feature for millions, and one ultimately died by suicide. So I'm just wondering, are they the worst offender in your view, or the other ones you guys are coming at them next?
They're a major offender, but they're not the only offender. And we've already brought a lawsuit against TikTok. That's pending now.
Right.
And similarly, states across the country, over 40 states, bipartisan, have brought their own lawsuits against TikTok. We are also very interested in Snap. We're very interested in YouTube. We're not just picking out one particular player. It's an industry that has followed a lot of the same MO, where they know about the harms. Those harms make them money, so they double down on those harms on our children. They do it anyway, and they lie to the public. So it's not only Meta, but Meta's the one that's in trial starting Tuesday, so we're focused on them.
It's also an industry that brings a lot of money to the state of California, whether it's Alphabet, whether it's Meta Platforms. You know it well. They employ a lot. They do a lot. They probably pay a lot of taxes as well to your state. What is the balance? It's always, societal impact versus economic impacts. How do you balance that? How do you think about that and reconcile those two?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward and simple. They have to follow the law, period, full stop. Meta can be wildly successful and follow the law. And I don't just suggest that, I insist that they have to follow the law. They cannot hurt our kids, and they have broken the law, whether it be federal law and taking advantage of the privacy of children under 13, or violating the false advertising law or the unfair competition law in our state by providing dangerous features, designing dangerous features, and lying to the public. So we want businesses to found here in California, to grow in California, to create good jobs, to contribute to us being the fourth largest economy in the world. And we want them to follow the law. And we know that they can, and we know that they will when we enforce, and we insist that they must. So the balance is you need to be a business that follows the law.
If
and
Meta
has broken the law here, so we're taking them to court.
If Meta is big tobacco, if Meta is the Sackler family, as you've asserted, Attorney General, do you want to put Meta out of business?
I do not. It's an analogy to the same conduct, the same type of knowing conduct that harms the public, doing it anyway, doubling down on it, and lying. That's the MO. That's what is like tobacco. That is like similar to the Sackler family and to Purdue Pharma. They can stop and end these addictive features, these dangerous features for children, and still have a product that is not dangerous to kids and can be very successful. So no, we are not interested in putting them out of business. We are interested in ending the harmful, unlawful features that hurt kids, that are addictive, that are excessive, and create compulsive behavior.
Will Mark Zuckerberg be called to testify?
We'll see. Right now, we think we have a really strong case. But, without him, it might be important to have him part of the case. I did mention that important
moment.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want him there? We always talk about when it's a publicly held company, the CEO is at the top and responsible for whatever happens at a company ultimately. Why wouldn't you?
Well, we might. I mean, I'm not saying we will or we won't. It's a big company. We're able to make our case about the dangerousness of the features, the lying. We have a ton of documents. We have a lot of other evidence in the case. We have taken his deposition in another case, so we're not afraid to, as necessary, depose the person at the top. It is his company, as you mentioned, the founder, and so we may.
Wouldn't be the big tobacco moment without all those CEOs sitting there together, right?
They've been, yeah.
They call them seven dwarfs.
Would
been
you
hold
ask
before.
Mark Zuckerberg to apologize to these families as part of this?
We're going to bring our case, and I do think it's appropriate for him to apologize to all the families that have been harmed, the families of the children themselves. I think that what speaks of a very strong apology is to change the conduct, to end the features that knowingly hurt kids. That's the primary thing that we're looking for in this case. Of course, the financial components are important too, but we want to protect our kids. We want them to be safe going forward. Any parent, teacher, or guardian knows that, and that's what we're focused on. So action is more important than words, but the words of an apology, if sincere and in good faith, that would be strong and important too.